Hello and welcome to Social Hour. I'm Kay Walsh.
And I'm Jenny Smith, and we've done something slightly crazy this afternoon. Well, and set up in my garden because we thought we travel a lot with Quiltfolk. We're going to be on the road, so let's see if we can do a live broadcast outside.
Yeah, the boys have been playing with lots of new technology.
Yeah.
They're in their happy place. So
there should be lights to make us look youthful, hopefully.
That'd be nice.
We've got lots of quilts to keep us cosy if it gets cool. It's what time is it here?
8 o'clock, 8
in the
p.m.
evening. It might get a bit darker. So anything could happen, but we are so pleased that you're here. We can see there's already lots of you. Some of you, it's your first time.
Yeah.
And really, it's very much an hour to hang out in your company, have a chat. You'll be able to comment. We're going to ask you some questions, get to know each other a bit more. Like-minded company, celebrate what you all get up to in Quiltfolk workshops, and just have fun.
Yeah, so we're here to answer any questions you've got as well. So if there's anything you want to know about what we're up to, what we've got coming up, or what we've already done, then please feel free to ask any questions you want. If you haven't done this before and you don't know how to chat, you can just hopefully, once you've put your name in, you should be able to just type any comment you want there. And then if you do that, we can keep an eye on it. We've got our laptop here as well, so we can see any questions that are coming in. So hopefully we'll have lots to
who
talk
have we got?
about.
So Sue in South Carolina.
Cynthia's here from Grassonville, Maryland, I think that is.
Great. Yeah.
And I know we've got some of her blocks coming up later on.
And Kathy, Blacklock. I know Kathy's been on some workshops with us for sure. Hi, Kathy.
Susan Scott is in Oregon.
Nice. Reno.
Yeah.
Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer.
Yeah, and it's her first social hour as well. So thank you for coming. Oh, yeah, Florida. I think it's probably going to be a bit warmer there. Mind you, we're not too bad at the moment, are we?
No, we've had some sunshine.
Yeah, it's quite unusual that we're able to sit outside, I think, at this time of year, and pretty much guarantee it's not going to rain on us, so that's good.
We've got a giveaway we've Quiltfolk have been doing across Facebook and Instagram for some free places on our upcoming workshop, The Spirit of Hawaii. So a little later on, we're going to do a random number generator live and read out 2 lucky winners. And we're going to show you more details of the quilt project that we're teaching in that workshop as well, which we sent off to our lovely friend Trudy Wood to do her magic on her long arm. So we're excited, and we've filmed a little video that will show you some of the details on that as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to say as well about the chat. Some people don't want to see it, we know that, and if you don't, you can click on the icon at the bottom right to display the full screen. So there's, at the bottom right of your screen, you can hover over and it says full screen. If you click that, you then won't see the chat, and you click the same one to get back if you want to see the chat again. So it's up to you whether you want to just watch or join in.
Okay, so what's first?
I think first we were going to look at a few. We've got our block of the month, Patchwork and Prose, which was running last year, and we're on our second cohort again. So we've got some more students, but we've got a few slides just to show you of people from last year who've finished their quilts. So just for a bit of inspiration, I thought we would look at a few of those first. Oh wow! Okay, so this one is Renee Hilton Tyler's quilt, which you can see there. So she's made 12 blocks. You can see, and got those. I think that's right. I'm trying to see. Oh no, it's not. This one is actually Nancy Woodward Petrowski's one.
Wow. And yes, so she's quilted as...
Yeah, she's done
gone
quilt
along
as you
on this
go.
one.
Yeah, quilt as you go for each block, and then joined them afterwards.
So Patchwork and Prose, for those of you that don't know, it was a block of the month. It is running again this time, but basically we give lots of different prompts and lots of different lessons about interpreting book covers, and some people have done 12 as they did one each month throughout the year, and then they're just at that stage now of getting them together and quilting them. So in our private Facebook community, it's lovely to celebrate everybody's makes.
Yeah, so that's the back of one of Nancy's blocks. So for each of the blocks, she's also done this little frame telling you what the book is from the front, so that's really sweet as well. That's a really nice idea. And I think on the next one, we're just going to get up. You can see there that she's made a little pocket as well on the back, and you can see she's printed off all of the book covers that she's used and then put them in the little pocket, so that's really sweet as well.
Yeah, I mean, imagine when that's handed down in years to come and all the stories are there.
Yeah, and that's all of the back, so you can see again she's put those little names of the books. Yeah, such a nice idea, isn't it?
Fantastic. And if people are watching who are on our current programme, this can give you some ideas as it goes along.
Okay, so this one is Renee Hilton Tyler's.
Yes. So interesting, throughout each month she zoomed in, didn't she, on individual characters. So there's the Gentleman in Moscow. I know that's a really popular book.
Yeah.
The Book Thief, Margaret Atwood.
Yeah. Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah. And the Fahrenheit, the figure that's on fire. Like, they're really striking blocks, aren't they?
Yeah.
But look so, like, really how she's done this kind of signature style.
Yes, yeah.
Is
you
superb.
could tell they were her blocks, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I think that's just another one.
An example of the label.
The label that she'd done on hers, yeah.
Yeah, and she's done some really nice quilting. There's like a rope effect you can just see there as well on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I think on the next slide you can see her, I'm assuming this is a long arm machine that she's done it on herself, and yeah, you can see that she said she really wanted to get that rope kind of on the border, which is really effective, isn't it?
We do have some very talented makers in the Quiltfolk community, don't we? We're very much in awe of them.
Yeah. Next we've got, this is Robin Leftwich's, and she's made this for her son. So I think she said this was a lot of his favourite books.
It's gorgeous, and she's done it like the books are on one of those shelves.
Yes,
in a room. With something on the wall, I guess, behind, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're all hand-pieced. All of her blocks are hand-pieced, and then she's joined them together on a machine afterwards. So, yeah, you can see the whole.
And then a really cool, people have found all kinds of fabrics, book-related fabrics, haven't they?
Yes.
Which I can see in the borders there as well, like stacked books on an old, dusty, antique library kind of effect, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Okay, and this one's not quite quilted, but she's finished the top, and that's Susan Farringer-Widdick's. So again, I really like how these have all been kind of framed by different borders.
Yeah, a bit log cabin effect.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's the improv top right. That's the improv book, isn't it?
It is. It is.
A quilt book that she's been inspired by there.
Yes, it's Angela Walters, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the one is the Clara and the Sun.
Clara and the Sun top left, which is a block that I did as well.
We could just have a quiz sometimes.
We could. Well, I think somebody put this time, guess what book I've gone for, and it was a nice little guessing game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. So I think that's all of the blocks from that we've got so far.
So part of the reason Social Hour came about was that during Patchwork and Prose we had hundreds of students that we checked in with each month for a live session, and we had a lovely time meeting them and getting to know them. So hopefully some of you are here, and it's an opportunity to keep that going, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, lots of nice comments about those, and like people saying what clever ideas people have come up with, of how creative people are.
Yeah, Cynthia.
Yeah. And how, Kathy agreeing of how she'd zoomed in on those characters is really effective. It's nice to see, isn't it, the themes that some people pick. Like this time we've already got banned books somebody's doing. Yeah. Which is interesting. Children's books. Or the one lady who's picked very specific children's books. They've all about stories about nighttime or something. There's like quite a few moon themes as well. That seems really interesting. So yeah, nice to have a theme. You don't have to have a theme, but yeah, they're good when they... I was just seeing if we had anything else.
And Susan's here. Susan
Yeah.
Shillito. I know that she was in Patchwork on Provence.
Yeah. Apparently it's raining somewhere. It's not even raining
It's
here.
foggy in San Francisco. What
Yes.
a shame. It's always usually the other way
It
around,
is,
isn't it?
isn't it?
And it's foggy here with us. But yeah, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask as well about anything Quiltfolk related as we go along.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So we were going to talk a little bit about last month we talked about it was last month, wasn't it?
It was.
About lessons in chemistry, and this month we said we were going to talk about this book here, and this is the Aloha quilt by Jennifer Chiavarini. And she's written a lot of books, hasn't she?
She has.
She's very, very, very prolific, and these were quite new to us actually. But they're part of the series, the Elm Creek and Quilt novels. And what year did she begin them? It was, we made some notes, didn't we? But it was...
First one came out in 1999. That's quite a long time ago, isn't it? Although it feels like it was maybe yesterday.
And 21 quilt-related novels.
21 in this Elm Creek quilt series, but I think about 40 odd books or something.
Yeah, so
in
there seems to
total.
be...
That's a lot.
Like very frequent, like 1 or 2 a year up until about 2012, and then a longish gap, and then another one in 2019,
Yeah.
and then a couple of short stories that are ebooks as well, and also practical quilt books that she's done 6 of those with patterns.
Yeah.
So we haven't read them in
No.
order.
No.
In what they were written, but actually there's a really good resource on her website to say if you wanted to read them chronologically, then you can follow a guide, because some of them there's like 2 main characters and a main character that goes throughout, but then some of them go back to like her ancestors, don't they?
Yeah.
Go back into the 1850s.
Yeah.
So it moves around quite a lot, but when she started writing she intended that they were just going to be...
Yeah, she didn't think they were going to be a series, maybe, did she? So, and like if you just jumped to this one, it would absolutely make perfect sense, wouldn't it? Because she explains the kind of history that you need to know of each one. You don't miss anything, do you? But there might be spoilers. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you then skipped forward, you might find something out about some of the characters.
Yeah, but I mean, would you remember?
I wouldn't.
No, exactly. So, I mean, if you spaced them out over a while,
Yeah,
I'm not sure
no.
you'd remember, would you?
No.
But you have read this more recently than me, haven't
I
you?
have
Actually,
read it
when we
more.
were
Yeah.
in Hawaii and when we got back.
Yes. Yeah.
So what did you think?
I really liked it. I like the characters, and well, the main protagonist of this one, who is called, what's she called, Bonnie, isn't it?
Yeah.
I liked her mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, she got a little bit,
Indecisive.
and then a bit cross about her friend, didn't she, later on? But I thought it was really interesting how they did the whole, because they're all set on the mainland normally, I think, aren't they? And then she makes this trip to Hawaii, which was obviously quite pertinent for us, wasn't it?
Yeah. So her quilt shop's struggling.
Yeah.
And an old friend of hers has moved to Hawaii and is setting up like a quilt retreat
Yeah.
place, isn't she, for people to go. And so it ends up that she's kind of got this new lease of life and potential career, hasn't she?
Yes.
She just goes thinking she's going to help out and then takes on the role of being more involved, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And makes her first Hawaiian quilt.
And it's the first Hawaiian quilt. So firstly, we wanted to know whether any of you have read it or any of the other books from the series, didn't we? And I can see already that Cynthia has said she's read many as well, but quite some time ago. Car saying, I've read several and have one of the pattern books, okay, from the Quilts of the Elm Creek Quilters, which we were going to come on to as well, weren't we? Carlene saying she's read many and likes the writing style. What's that? She had trouble finding some of them. Maybe just they weren't available in local, but maybe, I don't know, maybe some of them, you wouldn't have thought they'd have gone out of print, would you?
No,
Well,
I mean, I think the one that people talk about is The Quilter's Apprentice. So that was the very first one. And then there's a Christmas one as well, which
yeah, I
has
think that was
definitely
the
popped
last
up.
one, wasn't it? The Christmas Boutique, which she wrote in 2019, seems to be maybe one of the later ones. Sandra saying she's read the entire series and loved them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's impressive.
Which was your favourite though, Sandra?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Maybe that would be a good tip.
So we've got Terry saying she's read this one and the first one because of Social Hour. Oh, that's great. Hopefully you liked it as well. Olivia says she's read most of them and likes the Hawaiian book as well. Jane Heron's read many of them. Mika has read Mika Offermans has read all of the Elm Creek books before she started quilting and loved them. That's impressive.
Yeah, so that's interesting if you know, to come to quilting, having, you know, because I suppose it felt like it meant something to us because
we understand a bit about it.
Yeah, and that the community and the friendships, I think you understand, don't you, as well, from like being in quilt class with people and everything.
Yeah, Patricia Paul says she's got quite a few of the books. Have a lot on my bookshelf, including the Hawaiian one. Time to take it off the shelf and crack it open. Yeah.
I mean, there's a love story as well.
Yeah, there is.
There?
There is. There's a nice kind of interest.
Dalliance. And music. So it kind of, you do get a nice sense. I remember her talking about trying the food of Hawaii, which obviously we did, and then going from Maui to Oahu as well, and going to see the Queen's quilt. So I felt like you could pick up some history, and if, you know, a nice kind of springboard to then go off and find out a little bit more about something. So I definitely read another, because then I think...
Yeah, because I think I learned stuff about Hawaiian quilting from it. I think that we, you know, well, from before we visited, that I wouldn't have known. So I think you do get that bit of history or things about the different regions, don't you?
Yeah, and quite quick, I think, wasn't it? It's like 300 pages.
Yeah.
Pineapples.
Oh yeah, we're going to come on to that. Hold on.
Okay.
So I'm just seeing. So Trudy's reading it on Audible, and has got a best friend who lives in Maui. That's nice. It's bringing back nice memories.
Yeah.
Cynthia said yes, she's read it and reading the second book, really enjoying it. Melissa said, I wish Elm Creek was a real place. I loved them all. They felt like my friends during COVID. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I wish there was such a place to visit. Well, that was one of our other questions, wasn't it? Has anyone been to a camp like that? Because it does sound delightful, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Elm Creek isn't real, is it? You think that's a missed opportunity, because everyone who's read the book would probably want to go. Yeah, they could have actors as the main characters or something. We do have some smallish quilt retreats in the UK, don't we?
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
There's kind of not a dedicated place to go, but I wonder if there are more in the US.
Yeah, maybe.
A lot more quilters.
Definitely.
Over there, so you'll have to tell us, or if you've got plans for any quilty retreats with your friends and things this summer and get together.
Yeah, or maybe in Hawaii. Or like, we were thinking, you know, how many people have been to Hawaii, because for us, it was quite a trip of a lifetime, wasn't it? And not somewhere we would normally pop, but...
well, no, because it's 26
It's quite a long way.
But I guess for a lot of people, especially in the US and Japan, and, you know, I don't know if we've got anyone watching from Japan, but those places were much nearer, weren't they? So maybe it was a more familiar place to people. But I think what's always amazing, isn't it, is how you can travel anywhere in the world, and quilting kind of makes you feel at home, doesn't it?
It does, definitely. Yeah, you've got that thing in common and camaraderie, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the quilts in this as well. So, you definitely learn something about Hawaiian quilting, don't you? And kind of, and obviously the character is making a quilt in the Hawaiian style while she's there. She's being taught by the lady, or what's the friend called? Is it Midori?
Yes, Midora. Yeah.
Midora, who
works in the hotel.
Who works at the retreat, and then becomes her quilt teacher, doesn't she? And takes her to the guild and all of that stuff. And then she ends up making this pineapple quilt, which is kind of, I suppose, where the inspiration on the cover comes from, isn't it?
Yeah, well, shall we show them what someone's made? Have we got that picture?
We've got a couple of slides of people who, again, in Patchwork and Prose, have made made blocks based on this book.
Oh, so that's gorgeous.
So, well, that one is by, so we've got, hold on, that's Cynthia's.
Okay.
That's Cynthia
Oh, and
Smith.
Cynthia's-
So she's done a lay, and it's 3D.
Yeah, that's
That's
gorgeous.
really clever, isn't it? Kind of, you can really see the flowers popping out of the block, can't you? So that's
Yeah.
lovely. And then Nancy Fisher has done this more literal representation of the cover with the pineapples that are like the quilt in the book.
Yeah. Well
Nice,
done.
yeah.
Yeah, but what made us laugh, well, is the quilt that she's making in the book. I mean, she talks in the book, doesn't she, Bonnie, about like tasting the pineapple and it's amazing and all that kind of thing, and then she's doing the pineapple quilt. But pineapples were native to Hawaii, were they?
Native to Hawaii, despite being obviously grown there. A lot they were taken there specifically to manufacture, weren't they? So they're not native to the island originally.
No, and
Yet they're so known for.
Yeah.
It's one thing that comes to your mind, isn't it, when you think of Hawaii, is pineapples.
Yeah, and that had been mentioned to us because there's the Dole, like there's a place, isn't there, on Oahu, and like a visitor centre and everything like that as well, and that's where all the pineapples are. But when we filmed for the workshop at the Honolulu Museum of Art, which has got an incredible permanent collection and some quilts, and the painter Georgia O'Keeffe was sent out, kind of commissioned, wasn't she, to go to Hawaii by Dole, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so.
And she refused to paint pineapples because she was like, they're not native to the islands. So she did paint all these other beautiful landscapes that are in the Honolulu Museum, but she was like, I'm not
Stuck
painting
to her principles, and she's like, nope. I'm not going to do that. I think probably a lot of people maybe appreciated that, but yes.
So
interesting. But the pineapples, I mean, front of the cover is, and I think a pineapple quilt would be lovely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're stunning. And this quilt pattern is one that is either in one of the books, or it's definitely on the website, on Jennifer Chiavarini's website, as one that is out there as well. So interesting.
Oh, lots of nice comments about Hawaii. So Susan Shulato says her daughter was born in Honolulu and she's going to make the Hawaiian pillow for her 50th birthday in September. Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, nice.
So maybe from the workshop, I'm guessing our ulu pattern, which if you're joining us at the weekend, you'll find out more about.
And we also, I think a few people in the past might have picked up Hawaiian patterns or been there on holiday and then never done them. So they're in our Hawaii workshop. Like, we were thinking, it doesn't matter whether you do the pattern that's provided. It was gifted to us by the teacher, Pat Gorlangton, but equally the workshop covers just so many tips, doesn't it, for cutting, basting, doing needle turn applique and everything. So it might just, and then seeing all the other interviews we did in Hawaii and all the other places we visited might just kind of be the, you know, the spark.
Or a few people have said they've already made Hawaiian quilts or Hawaiian style quilts in the past, but they're going to come along just to find out the other bits, haven't they? I mean, there's some omits, there's some in the Facebook. If you're in the Adventure Workshop Facebook group, there's already a couple of people that have posted beautiful quilts that they've made, haven't they?
Yeah.
And here, this is another point I think we'd thought about earlier as well. Kathy Patton is saying her favourite part of the book is the discussion on the symbolism of a traditional Hawaiian quilt and the Queen's quilt. I think that was one comment, wasn't it, at the end of the book that we'd written, where apparently it says at the end that Bonnie went to Hawaii broken and dispirited but returned whole. And they talked about as the quilt becomes more complete, so does she, and there is a lot of symbolism, isn't there? Like we thought of what goes into a Hawaiian quilt, and the whole aloha, different meanings, and
the title of the book. There's something else in here, wasn't there? So this is another little book called Tutu's Quilt, and this is a really nice little sweet illustrated story, and it talks about a flag quilt,
Yeah.
which are also really important in Hawaiian, which we look at and study at the Iolani Palace, see one up close, don't we? But at the back it says about aloha having all those different meanings, so hello and goodbye, but also, well, it says basically that it's untranslatable. It can mean love, mercy, compassion, kindness, not to mention hello and goodbye. We don't have a word like that, do we?
No.
Is that, I don't know, is the one where you are? You'll have to tell us.
Yeah.
When we did the Wales workshop, it was hirai,
Yeah.
wasn't it? And that
Yeah.
was the word that we investigated, and in lots of people that interviewed, we kept coming back to that. And actually we were saying kind of a lot of, you could put a lot of those words to it, couldn't you, as well?
Yes.
I mean, not
Yeah.
the hello and goodbye, though.
No, but that feeling of, it's more of a feeling, isn't it, than a
word.
than a thing in that sense. Yeah, it evokes lots of feelings, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And yes, so like Kathy said as well, then the Queen's quilt, which Bonnie visits, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
With her love interest in the book,
Yeah,
and they
it
go over
whisks
to
her off on a
Oahu, yes.
romantic trip, doesn't he? Zip wires and quilts. Or
Oh yes,
something.
it was. We didn't do that, did we? Next time maybe. But yeah, the Queen's quilt. Well, again, it's another thing that we're going to show people in the workshop. But that was a fascinating visit, wasn't it, to the Iolani Palace?
Yeah, we got to go in when it was closed, so we had a whole day with their docent, didn't we, telling us about the other quilts as well.
Yeah.
That the palace have in their collection, but it's not a Hawaiian quilt, it's a crazy Victorian patchwork.
Yeah.
But that in itself is very interesting, and how it was made and how it even then came back to be at the palace. So we won't give too much away,
No.
but it's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah. So what have we got here? Kathy Black, so never been to Hawaii except as a stopover on the way back from Japan. Oh, and Cynthia's saying as well that she lived in Japan for a while, so they would stop in Hawaii. Oh, well, maybe when we go to Japan, we'll just have to stop at Hawaii,
back.
because we want to go to Japan.
Ah, yeah.
It's a plan, isn't it? We haven't
Yeah,
quite
the quilts,
finalised a plan yet.
The quilts of Japan are just incredible, aren't they? Well, and the entire country, but
Yeah. Well, we could do another little stopover just to see. So we thought we would maybe just give you a bit of a closer look at the quilt that we will be making as part of the workshop at the weekend. So I think Chris and James have put together a lovely little film for us, haven't they? Just a brief one showing you what the quilt looks like. So hopefully you got a bit of a closer look there at Trudy's wonderful quilting, like Jenny mentioned earlier. So Trudy Wood did the long arm for us, and we were very impressed when it came back the other day.
Yeah, it's a big, bold geometric design, isn't it? So sometimes she was really, it's nice like how she accentuated those shapes, and then in the Irish chain 9 patches did like the negative, the reverse, but just in stitch, and the same on these feather blocks as well down the side, so you can still see the design, but it's quite subtle.
It's really clever, isn't it? Like you then see different ways of quilting that I would never have thought of doing that, kind of echoing the pattern then in the kind of spaces.
No, we don't have. Well, we've never even had a go on a long arm, have we?
No, I think it scares me.
And we definitely don't have
We
room
say
in
we
the
will,
studio.
don't we? Every time we go to Festival of Quilts, every summer, which is a massive quilt show here in the UK in, well, July, August, isn't it? It's the biggest one in Europe, I think, isn't it? Just like they normally get about 20,000 visitors, so it's a big show, and if you are ever in the UK around that time, it's definitely worth a visit. And there's always, you know, people there with long arms, and we always say every year, don't we? We say we must have a go. And we haven't done yet, have we?
No, I mean we struggle to get around all the quilts and do the work we're normally there to do.
True.
But like I can see how it's exciting, you know, because on your domestic machine often you're struggling, aren't you? And you're moving the quilt, whereas that freedom of then drawing with the needle, I guess.
It's more like having a pencil, isn't it? It would seem more intuitive, you'd think, because like you say, when you're free motioning on a domestic machine, you're not moving the pencil, you're moving the paper, aren't you, technically, I suppose. And then, so you'd think it maybe we'd be okay if we can free motion on a normal machine, but we definitely need to give it a go at some point, don't we? I think, and again, it seems to be more, maybe, I don't know what you guys think, whether it's more of a thing in the US for people to send their quilts tops to be long-armed. I think that's just quite normal, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, also, what we've noticed when we've been to QuiltCon and things like that, here, if we were to put this quilt in the Festival of Quilts, like a competition, it's an open competition, it would have to go into a 2-person category, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the patchwork person and the quilter.
Yeah, whereas I think in the US, you don't have to do that, do you? So there's still that kind of more of a division here of who's done what. But I think it's exciting. Some people see it definitely then, like we did with this, as a creative collaboration, and someone lifts it then to something different, don't they? Or has their own vision. Yeah. I know Meek, she was here earlier. Yeah. She's a long armer, a very good one. Yes. Like she's done some incredible work. Yeah. And we're going to look at some of the quilts from the France workshop, some of the finishes later, and some of those have been quilted on a machine, haven't they? And
yeah, definitely.
As well.
It's just another element, isn't it, to look at when you're making a quilt. As much as I love just plain hand quilting as well, it's nice to see different things, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've just seen what everyone else's bits. So going back to the Elm Creek, Noelle Remington says she's read most of the series and has definitely purchased the Aloha quilt, so I think she must have read it, but we'll have to go back and read it again. I mean, that's the kind of thing I would do. Have I read it? In fact, I was looking at a book earlier that was in Patchwork and Prose, Circe, and I thought, I'm sure I've read that. But I had to go and read the synopsis to check whether I had or not. I know that feeling. Lots of people saying, they'd like to go to Hawaii. Definitely. It says you have to put. Carl's saying you still have to put it in the 2-person category. At least if someone else has quilted it, so maybe that is the same.
So it is the same.
Yeah.
I don't remember that at QuiltCon, but then maybe people have done their own.
Yeah, or maybe they don't. Maybe it wasn't as obvious on the label or something. I don't know. Yeah, interesting. If anyone else has put one in a competition that they could tell us about. Okay, so we were going to just talk through the skills that we were going to do in the quilt as well in the workshop, weren't we?
Yeah. Well, 4 at a time, flying geese. Teach that.
Yeah, how to make those 9 patch squares in a bit more of a easy, simple way with strip piecing, which some of you might have done, but rather than cutting out teeny tiny squares.
Yeah, and the geese are zero waste as well, aren't they? Which is really good.
Yeah.
And then some foundation paper piecing, which I mean, there are alternative ways, the chevrons at the centre and these feather blocks. You could piece it with strips and 45-degree angles and rulers and things like that, but it's trickier, isn't it, doing those kind of pieces. We've done that before in one of the quilts in the book, haven't we?
Yeah.
On all the angles and everything. So we were like, we could do that, or we could teach people basic foundation paper piecing, which is a fantastic skill as well.
Yeah.
And then it's just so much easier. But we have made it one step easier as well, and that in the pattern we have put all the fabric cutting requirements, so you've got your shapes to start with, and I think that's nice, isn't it? When we used to teach foundation piecing in our home studio here with our students, and often do a pattern that repeated quite a bit, so you just get into that rhythm, which this does, but also if you get confidence in what shapes and angles to use initially, then and if you've got help with that, what to cut out,
it just takes that kind of worry away, doesn't it? Yeah, because you can freestyle it, can't you, and just cut as you go. But we've all been there and not cut a piece big enough, definitely. But it is a great skill, because then once you've learnt it, I think what really impressed me about foundation paper piecing is you look at a pattern and you think it must be really, really complicated, because it's either got tiny pieces or weird angles or something, but once you know how to do it, it really doesn't matter, does it? They're all the same. It's not any harder, is it, really? I mean, sometimes you might not cut the piece of fabric that's big enough. That would be the only thing I think you could do wrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you can make really impressive quilts, like you made the cheetah for your son, didn't you?
Yeah, the Violet Craft animal patterns.
And I did the giraffe, and again, they look fab, don't they?
Yeah, and when you think about some of those Japanese quilts and the complexities of those and how tiny they go, then it would give you the abilities to do that as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and again, I think, I noticed in Patchwork and Prose, a few people have had a go at designing their own kind of foundation paper piecing pattern to interpret a book cover, haven't they? Which is pretty impressive to then just go and do that, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're a creative lot, a talented lot, these people, aren't they? So yes.
Summer reads recommendations as well. I remember that was another thing we were going to ask you guys, because it's holiday time almost, isn't it, here?
Yeah, we're on our last half term of school before they break up for the long holidays here, aren't they? So yeah, that'd be good.
Any good fiction or non-fiction books?
You need something to take to you on your holiday to France.
Yes. My friend Juliet mentioned a book that she said's an easy read about the lavender fields.
Oh.
I'm going back to Provence, so we went there to film the
without me. With a family. I mean, can you believe it?
Sorry. I'm my mum and dad. I'm my brother. I'm my sister.
Okay.
But yeah, she said I need to get the name of that. Something like a kind of light-hearted book, but it's all set in the lavender
Provence.
fields. Yeah, which weren't there when we filmed there in November, obviously, or weren't in flower. But they should be, and we're going just below Mont Ventoux, which is where all the volcanic and the soil is prime for lavender, apparently.
Okay. That'll be lovely and smelly, won't it?
Yeah. So summer reads.
Okay, so Cynthia is saying, Noelle says she thinks QuiltCon has got different categories and rules, so maybe to some of the other competitions in the US. But Cynthia says quilter is always noted. Janet says she's been to Hawaii a couple of times, cruising and then on a destination wedding. That sounds nice. I know I have a kit I bought there. Now I have to look for it and find it for the workshop. Yes. Well, yeah, finding things in your stash. That's another good. And something else someone also said about Patchwork and Prose, they were discovering new fabrics that they'd forgotten they had.
Yeah.
Which is good, isn't it? The other thing we're doing, hopefully you can see, as well as the quilt that Jenny talked about here, is this ulu pattern. So some needle turn applique.
A breadfruit.
The breadfruit, traditionally the first pattern you would do.
And then you'll have an abundant life, because breadfruit trees would always
provide for you, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah,
so
such a staple of. So I think you can see that there. Yeah.
So you've done the majority of the quilting on it, haven't you? Are you liking it?
I do. Well, I like hand quilting. I like doing stuff by hand, actually. I think you always forget when you haven't done it for a while, don't you? Needle turn applique is not the easiest thing in the world, is it?
Sure, turn it round.
Can you see?
Like even the, I like it
Well,
on
you like
this
the
side.
back, don't you?
Yeah, but just to see all
Don't you
the.
see the quilting. I mean, you know, I'm definitely not up to the standard of Pat Gore-Langton, who will be teaching you how to do this in the workshop. But we've
they're
got
not
to start somewhere.
Not 10 stitches per inch.
Well, I'm not. No, definitely not 10 stitches per. I don't know. Well, I'm sure lots of people do manage to do 10 stitches. No, there aren't. But I'm doing what Pat said as well, and I'm forgiving myself.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to worry about it. Right. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on, and yeah, if you've got any questions, please do ask us.
Oh. So, Millie's here.
Oh, Millie Kelly, yes.
Hello.
Hi. So she's reading Fabric, The Hidden History of the Material World, written by Victoria Finlay. Oh, and she's absolutely entranced. Oh, that sounds good.
So that's a factual book. Yeah.
Is it Victoria Finlay Wolfe?
I don't know, Millie, you'll have to tell us.
Is it Victoria Finlay Wolfe or somebody else?
So Millie did Patchwork on Prose with us and is a good friend of Quiltfolk's, and then done lots of very interesting research about quilts in literature and where they pop up in children's books and everything as well. So it's nice to have you here, Millie. She reads a lot of books.
Yes, she
and
says
loved
yes,
lessons,
it's non-fiction.
Loved lessons in chemistry.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
She did a very cool block of that, which I think we showed last time.
Yeah.
Non-fiction. Okay, I haven't heard of that, so maybe we could have that to chat about another time, couldn't we? So, Fabric, The Hidden History of the Material
Not Victoria
World.
Finlay Wolfe, no.
Okay.
Okay, Victoria Finlay. Okay, right, we'll need to look that up.
Yeah.
Oh, and Terry is saying if you liked Circe, which was the one I was talking about, Storm Blind by Natalie Haynes.
Circe.
Circe. So it's based on there seem to be quite a few books out at the moment that are based on myths and legends, like Greek gods, and so it's a novel, but you learn all about some of the Greek mythology and more the gods and the kind of what was supposed to be, but it's really good.
Okay.
And she's just the same. I can't remember who it's by, but she's written a second one at least, I think, of another one. But there seem to be quite a few on that kind of genre out there at the moment. So if you like that kind of thing, I mean, I wouldn't normally have picked that kind of thing up, I don't think, but I have really enjoyed it.
Okay.
It's really
was
well
it a
written.
book club book then?
No, I think someone bought it for me.
Okay.
Maybe. But it's really good. I'm wondering if this other one is similar as well. Indigo Girl apparently is a good book. Okay, so Stone Blind is based on Medusa.
Okay.
Again, yeah, I guess it is the that kind of. Okay, so this is a story from the Odyssey, telling her story from her point of view. Yes, and this is a thing a lot about these books. They're retelling the stories from the woman's point of view rather than the male god, maybe.
Yeah.
So always interesting.
I had to study them all at university.
Oh, did you?
Well, because I studied art history, so we had to have our book of iconography and signs and symbols, and to understand history paintings, you had to learn all. And I've got another one, of the Greek symbols and myths and all the legends, because I suppose you've got to know who's who in the painting and why and what they're holding and what it means and things like that. Yeah. So I got into it a little bit, so I'd probably find it interesting.
Yeah, you'd probably know a lot more than I would then, because I didn't really know anything about that. And I always love that, if you like going to an art gallery with you or someone who knows a bit about art, because I think if you do understand the symbolism in it, it means more, doesn't it? Otherwise it's just kind of a beautiful painting maybe, but if you understand why they've painted those things, it means a lot more.
Saying the saints, especially Veronica, means vero icon, true icon. So she's the one that carries the cloth that's meant to have Christ's face, the impression of his face on it and things like that. So there'd be someone in a painting stood there with her cloth and you'd know that's Veronica. Things like that. Oh, I still remember. That was a long time ago. But, things like that are kind of cool.
Very good. Oh, yeah, well, you definitely like stuff like that then, I'm sure.
And the Honolulu Museum of Art, if people go and you haven't visited ever, that did really blow us away, didn't it?
Beautiful.
We didn't film that part for the workshop, but the the paintings, like the collection that they've got there, is really,
Really
on
good.
a major international standard,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
Gorgans and Paul Clays
Yeah.
and Degas. It was really beautiful.
Really
wasn't it?
beautiful, and like not too big. Like you didn't feel overwhelmed by it, did you? Like you could absolutely do it in a day. But yeah, such an amazing collection. It was beautiful, and modern and old, and yeah, no, really cool. Cersei's by Madeline Miller. Yes.
Thank
and
you.
I'm sure she's definitely, yeah, thank you, Terry. Oh, Carl
Good job
says her
if you
book
got you
club.
lot.
I know, exactly. Her book club's going to read Lessons in Chemistry, which obviously loads of people
Have we got a
loved.
couple of those to show as well? A couple of blocks?
We do, actually. We could look at those now. Yeah, a couple more people did Lessons in Chemistry that we talked about last month. So this one is...
Ah, that's cool.
Okay,
I haven't seen
this
these.
is Cynthia Smith-Regals. Yeah, really cool.
How's she done that?
I don't know, because I'm guessing maybe like somehow managed to print it on fabric, but maybe, because I think maybe Cynthia could tell us how she's done it. If
The glasses that
she's
I've
here.
never really noticed on when I've seen the cover before, like the reflection of in the glasses as well, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
pencil.
The pencil's great. And then the next one, which is really clever as well, this is Michelle Wise's block. So she's managed to combine the pencil again.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's it.
But the face is kind of within, whatever you call one of those.
Not a test tube, but the other, what they called.
I don't know, like the glass thing that you do in chemistry.
You can tell we're not scientists. I'm quite good at art, but not particularly science.
No.
What are they called? It's going to really
all I can think about is Bunsen burners, and it's not one of them.
Somebody's asking about if they want to catch up with the first social hour, and the thing, it's there to watch. So, but if you go to Quiltfolk's YouTube channel, it doesn't just appear in all the videos in that section. You just have to click on the live tab, and then it's there. Because it was pushed out as a live video, then that's where it stays afterwards, and we can't shift it across. So it is there to watch at your leisure if you want to go back and catch up at any time.
Yeah. Cool,
Anything
fab.
else? A flask or beaker?
Oh, a beaker. That's the word. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy and Sandra and Becky, who helped us out there. Because we can't. This is what happens, isn't it?
Yeah. It is evening. We have been working quite hard today. Someone else has asked about if we're going to show about finishing off the ulu pattern as well.
Yes.
So it is ulu, U-L-U. I think someone else mentioned, is it hulu? But
No,
it's ulu with a slight accent before. And yes, so it could be, what we did is often in the Hawaiian quilt books and with the poakalani, like the pillows or the mini quilt sizes even are about 20 inches, aren't they?
Yeah.
So we've gone for that. So if people wanted to frame it and put it on a wall, they absolutely could. But it's also a really nice usable side for a pillow. Or you could make two to go with the quilt. But we will show how to put that on the back as well.
Yeah, so that's the question there. Yeah, so I think that's both of those. Okay.
Shall we
cool.
show a few
Yeah,
more
I think,
finishes?
shall we look at the France ones?
Yeah.
I think if the guys can get those ones up for us. So people that were on the postcards from Provence workshop. So this one is Anna Estrada Yost.
Wow.
And she's finished this beautiful purple one.
That's stunning.
With
It's lavendery colour, isn't it?
Yeah, lavendery colour with the booty in the centre.
Really pretty.
And then this is the back of hers. So you can see she's done the window so that you can still see the corded booty.
Yeah, which is translucent, isn't it? So that will, if you put that in front of a window, that quilt,
Yeah.
then the light would travel through.
Yeah. And then next we've got, this is Audrey Jones's, and she's made it into a pillow.
Oh, that's really nice.
Really sweet, isn't it?
Yeah.
And she said she finds hand stitching quite hard, so like she's done really well to kind of do the booty. And actually a few people did that and didn't do the whole of the pattern, and it doesn't matter at all, does it? It still looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I think we always try to design everything, don't we? So there's enough flexibility to make it your own and within something that's achievable for you.
Yeah. The next one is, I think this one is Ginger's.
Yes.
Yeah, Ginger Scott.
So she's picked that gorgeous toile de
Jouy,
jouy,
yeah.
like a lyrical landscape fabric, which is very French. For the back, I think she'd been waiting. I seem to remember reading in the Facebook group that waiting for the perfect fabric, and then she's found that in those nice browny gold tones, which is going to look stunning, isn't it?
Yeah. And then this one with the gingham around it is Kelly Jensen's.
Ah,
I love the gingham. And again, so she hasn't done the booty in the centre. She's got these gorgeous birds in the portholes and the centre. And it's beautiful, isn't it?
yeah.
Really effective.
Well, it's quite fitting because Terry's just saying she loves hearing the birds in the background here as well.
They are really tweeting away. I suppose it's that time of night, isn't it?
Yeah. There'll be an owl soon if we stay on a bit longer.
The next one is Stephanie Vieira's.
Oh, wow.
Lovely.
It's amazing, isn't it, how everyone's looks so different.
I was just going to say that, yeah. And the colour choices and the fabric choices.
Nice. I like the big blooms in the potholes.
Yeah, yeah, really nice fussy cutting there.
And on these pictures, probably you can't like zoom in and see the cleverness of the cording in the centre, but it's hard work, and everyone who's done that, you know, it's a really incredible new skill to learn, isn't it? But they look beautiful, don't they?
Yeah. And
well done.
Yeah, and the next one, the last one for the France lot is Susan Farringer-Widdick's.
Ah, nice.
So that's the back. So you can really see the booty there, can't you? And how she's making it into that window on the back of the quilt. And then the next picture is the front of her quilt there. Oh, there it is.
Oh, wow.
So you can see she's busy.
The golds and the reds were very Provençal colours, weren't they?
Very Provençal. And the stripe in the border, I really like that.
Yeah. Patricia's still working on it. So are we. I mean, we did our sample for the workshop, but I haven't.
You haven't finished yet.
I haven't finished my owl.
Your owl.
And we did start a second of the design from the Shining Light quilt, didn't we?
Yes, yeah.
Which I did find the other day as well. Yeah. So don't worry, there's no rush.
No rush at all. Just going back to the lessons in chemistry. So Cynthia's told us how she did it. Let me just find that comment. I saw it. So she printed on fabric, and the pencil is fabric and metallic thread.
Wow.
Cool. Very nice. Okay, so we have a quick look at what people have been finishing off for the Wales.
Oh, yeah.
Wales workshop as well. I think
Holly's just stopped by. I'm just saying hi to Holly.
Oh, yes.
She's another of our regulars, aren't you?
Okay.
Always busy sewing something.
Oh, yeah. Right, this one is, Annie Books, and this made us hungry because she's made some Welsh cakes to celebrate the fact that she's finished. But again, hopefully you can see how beautiful the quilting is on this one.
Yeah, so the spiral star quilt we designed again uniquely, didn't we, for the Magic of Wales workshop, which you can still do on demand. And the spirals, I think that it's a completely unique quilting design. We did put like a quilting plan out, didn't we?
Yeah.
But she's done that. I don't know if she designed it herself or it was from a book, but it's got lots of spirals in there, so it still like fits with the theme. But it's just beautiful, isn't it?
It's really, really lovely. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, next, another gorgeous one. This
that's just another. Yeah.
Oh, that's a closer up, yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, okay, so there's a few here, and we can just go through them. But these are all by Brenda Sue Warford, so she's given us quite a few nice close-ups. You can see, again, her hand stitching as we go through. Hopefully you can see she's done lots of different motifs.
Yeah.
On this black and red. So lots and lots of work you can see gone into this. And
is this the one with the dragons? No.
On
the back?
I think it is, yes, possibly. But you can see hearts and like these linking hearts. We've got leaves. Again, I think she's taken some of the things that we suggest. Yeah, so this is the backing fabric, which is brilliant, isn't it?
It's got the little Welsh
dragons and Welsh dragons on it. It's so cute.
It's so nice when like something like that happens, isn't it? Like a happy.
Yeah.
Something you search for, and then it all comes together.
Yes. And that's the whole front.
Yeah, reminds me of a lot of like the Welsh, like the national, the costumes in
Yeah.
those colours
And we saw quite
and the
a
flannel.
lot of, the flannel quilts we saw in that black and red, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Well done, Brenda Sue. Oh yeah, that's a close-up of the backing fabric. Very cute. And this one, I just wanted to, it's not quite finished, but this is Nancy Fisher, and she's still, as we are, stitching away.
Yeah.
There's no rush, is there?
No?
But it just looks so lovely, doesn't it? The hearts going in there in her hoop.
Yeah, and the contrast thread as well.
Yeah.
I think the nice thing about that quilt in the Wales workshop, but it's not, there was lots of tricks for piecing, but again, it wasn't overly complicated,
No.
which we kind of, so then if people could make the quilt top reasonably quickly, and then if they wanted to spend
if you
time
wanted to, yeah,
on
absolutely.
the quilting.
Yeah. One last workshop that, and there's just one thing to show in this, was going back to the mindful making in New Mexico, which we did with Blair Stocker when we were doing the chicken scratch.
Oh yeah.
And this finish here by, if we can just have a look, Carleen Kim Singsby.
Oh, who's here? I think she's there.
Oh yes, so yeah, Carleen has managed.
Well done, Carleen. It's brilliant.
It's so lovely, and it reminded me how much I enjoyed doing that stitching as well. So that's the 3 blocks you can see, and then I think we've got a close-up of the back in there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It is.
Are you going to let anybody eat the dinner though anywhere near this table runner after all that hard work? Are you going to whip it off when people sit down to eat?
Lots of hand stitching there, isn't there? It's so nice. I need to put my blocks together.
Yeah.
That's what you said, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely do need to do that. Oh, Carleen's, she's going to be in London and Ireland. I hope she can find a fabric shop or two. You'll find a fabric shop or two in London. Yes. Or you could visit Liberty.
Good. Drop us a line, Carleen, and we can give you some recommendations. I don't know so much in Ireland, but definitely in London we can, can't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Holly says her dad visited in the past week and enjoyed reading under her Welsh quilt. Very nice. Oh, brilliant. No, Carleen says, no, I don't think I will ever have food on it. Good plan. Okay. Shall we do the Hawaii giveaway?
Yeah.
Okay, so
what we did is we typed up all the names of everyone who'd commented and gave them a number.
Yes.
So then we're going to do the random
I've got
number
my phone out.
generator on Kate's phone.
Okay, so we're going to do 2, aren't we? Should we do the Facebook one first?
Yeah. If you've already purchased the Spirit of Hawaii workshop, then Quiltfolk will arrange for that to be refunded.
Okay.
And if you haven't, then you get to come along.
Okay, so if I press, you can tell me what number comes up.
27.
27 is Sandy Buendorf. I hope I've pronounced that correctly.
Okay.
So that's the Facebook winner. Well done, Sandy.
Yeah.
So we'll contact these people. Don't worry. We'll contact you. We'll let you know. Okay. And then Instagram. Let me just do another one. So let's see how many people we've got. Okay. So what number have we got there, Jenny?
Oh, number 2.
Number 2.
Of
Madeline Bonner.
Ah.
Oh, well, we know.
We know who
she's
Madeline
in the UK.
is.
That's why we know who she is. Well done, Madeline. Okay, so we will let you both know how to get in before the weekend. Well done. Okay.
Books to talk about next time.
Yes. Oh, top tip before that.
Oh, top tip.
We've got a top tip for you again.
Yes, we did one in month 1 about turning your needle around. So often, especially like on my sewing machine as well, when you load your top thread, and it would normally tell you to have your thread coming off to the left because that's the way it's naturally going and round. And if that's not always the case when you get your spool of thread, like on these Aurifil threads that we use, then you can just take the bottom off and put it on the other side. Can you see that?
Can we do that close up? Let's just see. I think we can
Show you
see if
one
we
more
can
time?
get it off on the other camera.
So we'd never realised this.
No.
Well, we did at a certain point, but I mean, so as this stands at the minute, it'd be coming off the wrong way. My thread would be coming off to the right, and it runs better coming off loading from the back and coming off to the left, not from the front like that. So you just twist the bottom off and pop it on the other side, and voila. And you can also do that if sometimes at the beginning you're struggling to find the end of the thread and it's sometimes tucked in there, you can struggle for ages. You just slide it off and release the thread and then slide it back on. And similarly, you can tuck it back in when you want to put it neat on your thread holder.
Yeah, good. Well, I think, yeah, who knew, says Linda. Yeah, well, you don't know anything until someone tells you, I suppose, do you?
No.
Okay, well, it's getting a bit dark here. Hopefully you can still just about see us. But
Oh, good night.
You can't go to sleep just yet. Okay, we're out of time, but just before we go, we're going to just let you know that books for next time.
Oh, yes.
So we thought we would pick, because we're about to go to Scotland for our next adventure, to film the next adventure workshop.
Yes, actually one of somebody from Quiltfolk had emailed because the other week saying, oh, you're going to Scotland, I'm going as well on a Outlander series, like on a bit of a tour, going to the locations. So it's they're TV programmes, aren't they, but based on the books. So we don't know much about them, but we fell down a bit of a rabbit hole researching them today, didn't we? And there's something like 50 million books being sold worldwide.
Yeah, so you'd have to hope that is a good sign.
Yeah.
We'll find out. So we thought the Outlander series, so they're by US author Diana Gabaldon. Apparently it's historical fantasy, which again might not be the kind of thing you'd normally pick up, but that's sometimes a good thing about recommendations and book clubs, isn't it? Pushes you out of your comfort zone a bit. Again, I'm not sure it'd be my pick, so I think it'll be interesting to see what we think.
Yeah.
And there's the first one, I think, is called Outlander, and then there's numerous
spin-offs.
Subsequent ones, I guess, isn't there? So, I mean, some of you might have already read them again. I guess if there's 50 million people out there that have.
Yeah, set in Scotland, and then so we thought they'd be good on our road trip to take one and read them. So any in the series, or if you've any recommendations, if you have already read them, and there's one that you think's great that we should start with. I know one's popped up in Patchwork and Prose, hasn't it?
At least one. One's done recently, and I think we've had one of the other. Not that first book, but another book from the series definitely been done as well. Okay, so that's
you could watch it on TV and tell us what you think.
Melissa's saying the Audible version is good. So again, if you don't, again, that's not something I've ever tried, an audio book, but loads of people love that, don't they? So apparently they're good. Carl says one of her blocks was from the book Outlander, so maybe that was the one that we've seen.
The Audible version is amazing of Outlander.
That's what I. So also, Kathy's just asking before we go, when can we sign up for a single workshop, specifically Scotland? Anytime.
I don't know if Scotland's available just yet, but it will be as a single. But it will be. So as soon as Hawaii's over, it'll be coming up.
Yes. Yeah. But we'll keep you informed. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah. I think Chris is saying we're just going to play in our little Hawaii trailer. It's very short and enjoyable, and then we'll just check any last questions. If you've got to go because we've kind of run out of time, then that is absolutely fine, but if not, then hold on and we'll come back in a sec. don't miss another social hour, if you press subscribe because you're watching this via YouTube, or the little bell icon, or both.
Apparently, you've got to do both. You've got to subscribe and hit the bell.
Okay,
And
then it'll
you'll be
just
told.
notify you next time we're here.
We have to do what the boys tell us. We have to do both.
And this will be on afterwards as well. If you want to catch up on anything, or if you joined partway through, it'll be there as soon as it's finished. But just again in the live tab, so you go to Quiltfolk's YouTube page. It won't just be on the front page of all the videos. You just click on the live tab, and then it will be in there. There's also a special discount code which we also had last time for social hour people, and that means you can get any single back issue of the magazine with 50% off, which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the code?
The coupon code is social.
Social gets you, social on Quiltfolk's website gets you 50%. So we picked a couple out, didn't we? Just
Yeah.
of back issues. So you can get a beautiful one like this, which is Louisiana, which I absolutely loved, and you picked out which one?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. So any back issue.
I love the back of this one as well.
Yeah, I love the front of this one. I love the front of them all. Anyway, yes, so...
And tell your friends as well to come along or catch up and watch, because this is the one totally free thing that we do workshop-wise, just to, it's not a workshop, but I mean just to hang out and come along and have a chat, and it would be nice to get more people in this community, so spread the word.
Yeah, thanks for all your comments and joining in and your suggestions and your questions. Yeah, keep asking, and if you've got any questions in the meantime, you can always contact us via the Quiltfolk Hub, which I'm sure most of you are in. And yeah, we'll see some of you at the weekend for a Hawaii adventure, and then if not, we'll see you
We'll be back next month.
Yeah.
We'll have been to Scotland, so we might have a few things to tell you all about that as well. But we really appreciate you hanging around, and take care.
Yeah, see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.